Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Welcome to Growthcast, where we present stories that change lives. And I'm Shivakumar, your host. The Growthcast is G-Yuva's weekly leadership series where we inspiring leaders share their wisdom, practical life lessons, and to also insights to help youth build confidence, character, and purpose. Today, it's my privilege to welcome Ms. Sunitha Raj, founder and artistic director of NSOD, Nrithyanjali School of Dance, and also director of International Classical Arts Connection, ICAC. Ma'am, welcome to the Growthcast, episode number 10.
Namaste, Shiva.
Namaste, namaste. How are you today?
Doing good.
Awesome,
How
thank
about
you.
you?
Yeah, so a little bit about Miss Sunitha Raj, a distinguished Bharatanatyam Guru, trained under legendary Padma Sri Valuvar Ramaya Pillai and Kalaimani Valuvar R. Samaraj. She began dancing at the age of 3, performed her Arangratam at 11, and has presented over 400 Bharatanatyam performances worldwide. Before moving to United States, she's also starred in several South Indian films, sharing the screen with renowned actors including Mammootty, Mohanlal, Jairam, Ambarish, Anantnag, and Shivraj Kumar, and also performed on stage with legendary artists such as Amitabh Bachchan. For more than 25 years, she has enriched the cultural life of the Carolinas by preserving Indian hearts and heritage while inspiring generations of youth through confidence, discipline, character, and culture. Today's topic is going to be building confidence, character, and culture through arts. Please join me in welcoming a warm welcome to Ms. Sunitha Raj.
Namaste. Thank you for having me, Shiva.
Thank you, thank you. So, Ms. Sunitha Raj, your life is like fascinating, and passionate journey. I know it's not possible to learn everything in 25 minutes, but let's see what is there for us from Ms. Sunitha Raj. Let's get started this conversation. Ma'am, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, so you began learning Bharatanatyam at the age of 3 and performed your Bharatanatyam Arangratam at 11 and
Mhm.
also appeared in movies and later became a cultural leader in the United States. So looking back, what inspired your journey and what role did the arts play in shaping who you are today, ma'am?
Well, I have to go back to where and how my career started and how I started understanding what responsibility is. So, yes, I did start my dance training when I was 3, but it was my mommy that taught me when I was 3. But of course, like all moms, she was kind of very strict, so I did not want to continue with her. And then I went to Sri Varuramaya Pillai, and I started with him, and we used to have 4 classes per week, 4 times. So my journey into the Arangetram was super fast compared to what it is today. So
Mm.
when I did my Arangetram, I really did not even understand the depth of arts or anything. It was just fun. But later on, when I started engaging with the littler ones, because that's how our Gurukul was. So once you do your Arangetram and you become a senior and you performed more than 100 performances, then you get the opportunity to, start teaching the little ones. So when I started teaching the little ones, then that's when I understood, like, oh, it's not as easy as it seems to reach and make them understand. So that's when I started understanding, oh wait, like if master has given me this child, then it is my responsibility to teach her. So that is where the understanding of responsibility started. But then with my dance classes and everything, when I was picked from my dance class to start in a movie, and then it was a much wider and a bigger industry where just dancing and was not enough. It had a lot more other responsibilities of interacting with
Yeah.
almost 100 people on the set, and that taught me the different characters of people. So that gave me an understanding of, like, everything is not like what it seems. There is more complexity in people and how they behave and how they perceive things. So that gave me an understanding of, wow, the world is much wider. So it's not like, it's not a formula of A plus B plus C. It is different and it varies. And so there, of course, with movies comes fame, and with fame comes greater responsibility, as people say. So that was the path of arts, pushing me into a much wider audience, which pushes a person as a talented, like, as anything to do with arts. If a couple of people come and tell you, oh wow, you're doing good, then you want to do better. So that, like, getting into the movies made me want to, like, concentrate on my art to do much better than where I thought, oh, I've done my Arangetram, I got this. But it wasn't so. I had to, like, push myself more because, yeah, I mean, innovation, there's other people coming in. So all of those things just pushed you to, so your destination line is like always forever moving. So your horizon is always being pushed. So that was the other thing that I
So
learned.
you remained as a continuous learner throughout your
I
life.
think so. I mean, that's what art does, I think, to you, because you're always reaching for more. Okay, so it's just like any other field, right? It's like
Yeah,
newer things are coming, and you need to reach newer audiences. And
yeah,
when I moved to USA, it was a completely different thing from India. Here, kids did not understand the concept of shyness at all to
mm,
begin with. So that it was like, oh my God! So I have to explain a lot.
yes,
In
yes,
Bharatanatyam, the most of the Shringaram are like, the stories are like Krishna, love. So we it was just very natural for us to just do that. But that was not the case here. What is shyness? Why am I supposed to blush? It's just a friend. And which makes sense.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
You
So
know,
but
take them through
then
Bharat.
because of
Yeah,
dancing,
yeah,
I got a wider audience. And because I got the wider audience in the movies, my thirst for a much wider audience just grew. I guess so that kind of made me, like you said, the learner.
yes, yes.
Always.
Thank you for that. Your journey is fascinating because I am talking with the star here. So you played multiple roles, like started with the Bharatanatyam practitioner, then a movie star, no, now a teacher, mentor. It's a lot of multiple roles, and you're keeping it on. It's not like you stopped somewhere. That's where the interesting part of your life, like you keeping it on. Even today, when we see you, like you wanted to know what next, like
Yeah.
what is coming up, like that. So
Right. Right.
my next question on the same
Mhm.
line,
Mhm.
many young people, like you deal with the young students every day, young minds, right? So
Right.
many young people, I feel like they struggle with confidence, expressing themselves, mainly at the age of like below like 15, I say.
Yeah.
So how does Bharatanatyam or performing any art for that matter, art form, help children develop the confidence, stage presence and
A
self-belief?
lot, actually. So, like you said, they lack confidence, and the most biggest part, where their lack of confidence comes in, is from peer pressure.
Do you
So
do you agree that they lack confidence?
I do. I
Okay.
completely do. Because, like I said, it's because of peer pressure.
Okay.
And there is, when a child is growing, they still don't have their character set yet,
Okay.
right? So they're learning from whatever they're seeing,
Yes.
and whatever they see, not all of it is good, right? And the reason why I said they lack confidence is the kids these days, the one thing that I notice is that they get dejected very, very soon.
Hmm.
They're easy quitters. So if they get if the going gets very difficult, then they're like, oh, maybe this is not for me. So what is the other venue? While I'm very happy that kids these days have many different channels that they can go, like, say for example, they want to become a doctor, they think about becoming a doctor, and then somewhere along the road they're like, oh my God, this is very difficult, I'm just going to switch it over and become an engineer. And that's possible these days. Back then it wasn't. If you picked arts, then you stay with arts until you graduate from college. That's not there these days. It's like you can switch even after you've done like a couple of semesters, you can still switch what you want to. As long as all of these options are available,
Yes.
what is the downside of it is that their determination on staying in the chosen path is deterred. So when that happens, they very slowly they start losing confidence and wait, I wanted to do this, but that's not working. So I thought this is better, but this is not working either. And so when they start thinking like, let me just do what is easy for me, then they've lost their self-esteem. They
Mm.
don't put themselves up in a high standard where they think, what, I think I can do this. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to nail it, kind of a thing is very, very less in the earliest, like the recent generation.
Yes.
So with arts, maintaining arts, for you to like, these days, for you to like do an arrangetram, you need to be on your path for at least 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
And that is not an easy journey. Your college journey ends in like 4 years, 6 years, unless you're a doctor, of course, then you're kind of always reading. So, but your arts, and you start young, you start like when you're 5. Um, and then you go on until you're either 13 or 15. And these days, sometimes, parents and kids want to wait until their senior year. So when they're graduating from high school, they want to graduate from Bharatanatyam also,
Okay.
which makes sense. So it can sometimes be 12 years also, right?
Mm.
But staying in the path for that many years is super difficult. Sometimes, but most of the times, the children are in the dance school because the parents want them to be dancers. It's not because the child wants to be a dancer. It's very rare that the child wants to be a dancer. Like at 5, they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
But for the child to, like, when they reach their adolescence, they go into middle school, a lot of things happen, a lot of new introductions in their life, and then still staying on this path becomes super difficult.
Yeah.
But that is when the cultural part takes effect. So somewhere along the road, when they're doing dances, they're also learning stories about the Indian roots.
Mm.
So when they are doing that, the roots, the Indian roots, and the Indian mythological stories, and then the Indian, like love stories or accomplishment stories, these things somehow, somewhere inspire them to like, oh wait, I could be like that hero in the dance that I did. So maybe I should continue, like, pursuing this. And sometimes I do have to sit them down and give them a pep talk. Sometimes the parents do have to do it. But the motivation, the end line of doing the Arangetram carries them through their ups and downs. There are times when the child wants to do the homework by herself, and then there are times when the child does not want to do homework no
Yeah.
matter what the parent tells them or the teacher tells them. But as a parent or a teacher, we kind of have to take it slow. Let them go in their process and try to make them understand it. So our roots are so rich that it has a moral story in no matter what story you're reading. They have a character building, woven into our mythological
Get
stories.
attracted naturally. Yeah.
Exactly. And the fun part and the interesting part about that is all those mythological stories are very, very easily adaptable to the modern world. So
Yes.
somewhere it clicks for the children, and then they're like, okay, I have to do my Arangetram, so there's a lot more for me to go. So they learn to stay in path for that many years. And when they go to college, they've seen more difficult, phases with Bharatanatyam. Sitting
Yeah.
in Armandi and dancing is not easy. Practicing for, 4 hours, 3 hours is not easy. But when they've done that, then they have a confidence that they're like, well, I've done that, which was so difficult physically for me. This is not
Yeah.
a physical issue for me. This is just a mental. If I can do that, I can do this. So
Yes.
then they are, escalated into a burst of confidence after their engagement. And when they go into like college, they know how to stay on path. They know how to overcome these. And then when they come back from college after they graduated and say, Didi, you know what? This journey of Arangetram has taught me so much in my life. That's the rewarding moment for me. But that is also the truth that all of these things that we're doing is not just learning Tayyum Tatta or 1 2 3 4. It is
Mm.
about unknowingly or knowingly
Pushing
mixing
forward.
them, and then pushing them toward determination, toward self-esteem, and toward achieving their goals. So
Yeah.
arts plays a very, very huge role to lay that foundation for them.
That'll help them to be a consistency.
Consistency,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's important,
Staying
right?
on path. That's the main thing. Yeah. Ups and downs are going to come and go. Failure is going to come and go. One performance, oh my God, I couldn't stand with one leg up. I wobbled. That's a lesson. So next time when she picks up the leg, she's going to be like, oh God, I should not wobble this time. So she will know how
Yes,
to like settle herself down and not be like so stressed out on stage and then pick it up and stand there with confidence.
thank
So it's just, building, character building and confidence
you.
interwoven in arts,
Character building and Bharatanatyam goes hand in hand.
hand in hand, completely. Yeah.
So, thank you. This is very insightful. It's really insightful. It's not just you are teaching the Bharatanatyam, you are also teaching life lessons.
I,
So,
I am. I mean, I don't think I signed up for it. I thought when I was going to teach them Bharatanatyam, I was going to teach
yeah,
them
yeah,
Bharatanatyam. But, I am
yeah.
a spectator too. So as an audience, I enjoy their journey. When I see them, for very very simply, like I've seen when kids are growing into, it's a very small example, but when they go to the temple, I have seen that the kids themselves don't want to wear shorts and go. They want to wear Indian clothes and go.
Nice. That's the
So that
transformation.
is something that we're not telling them that you should do. So
Yeah,
when parents come back and tell me, you know what, she actually wanted to wear Indian to go to the temple. She didn't want to wear her jeans. She felt like that's inappropriate to wear that. So that's not something we tell them, but it's just something that they
yeah, we'll,
understand and they think, you know what, I need to like look cultural. I need to like blend in with the cultural thing. So somehow, somewhere, it is like, instilled in them.
yeah, there's a real transformation, by the way. So that's
Yeah,
coming inside. That's what the true knowledge is, right? You're trying to help them to express the trueness.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing this, and in the next when I keep going on this conversation, it's getting a very interesting conversation. So my next point here is if parents often enroll children in dance classes because it's, as you said, it's a parents' drive more than children.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the expectation is that they learn an art form. Uh, as a teacher, as a mentor, beyond the dance, what we discussed on this already. What life lessons or character traits do students develop uh, during that years of learning Bharatanatyam or classical art form? So, I'll ask
Yes,
what the consistency, then the character
exactly. Endurance,
endurance.
for one thing.
Mhm.
Um, Taking failure as a path to success, understanding that failure is a path to success.
Yes.
Um, and then knowing that whatever you do, it's not enough if you have enough support. It is the hard work. When you do the kind of hard work, the dance or the performance requires, then you definitely achieve success on that. So you can like minimal hard work, minimal success, more hard work, more success. They understand the equation there. Um, and then they understand that proficiency in anything that they take up, whether it's singing, dancing, one particular subject, whatever it is, they need to know, they need to be able to do the research on each subject that they're doing. If it is like when, say for example, law. So when you're doing that, it's not enough if you like, just go textbook wise. You need to go out of the textbook and try to do your own research to have a better understanding of whatever subject you have in hand. So there is always more than one way to achieve a goal. So the textbook may tell you to go like A plus B plus C, but there you could probably go with a A plus B plus an F1 to make it more interesting or more attractive. So that possibility of deviating from what is already proven to explore and to discover other possibilities to achieve your goal. All of this is what is instilled in a child. And for example, when a child is learning to do a backbend, or when a child is learning to do a simple fast speed, let's go with the fast speed
Yes.
step, because all kids have like, they start with slow speed and then they go into fast speed. And getting the fast speed is not about like, just going as fast as you can. You also have to make the rhythm fit to that fast speed. So that takes practice, right? So it is a very, very frustrating practice for every child that comes there, because she is able to do it in slow speed, but she's not able to do it in fast speed. And that's the first failure they've reached. So then we tell them that, don't jump into the speeds, like go slowly, like, like a train is leaving a platform, like how it slowly accelerates and goes. Try doing that. And when they do that, sometimes it works for some kids, sometimes it doesn't work for some kids. So then we tell them, lose your hands, do only the leg first. Once you get the leg, then we can do with the hands. So it's like more than one way to be able to
Yes,
do the fast speed. So
yes,
we open the possibilities to them, and then they build on that.
yes,
So then they understand, okay, so there is more than one way for us to like achieve this goal. So this is fine, but if this isn't working, we should not give up. We should try it in another way and continue pursuit, continue to see that, we're better than the dancer right next to us. And then also, when it comes to being the better dancer than next to them, that's the competition. Any child, I believe, needs to have some level of competition in their life in order for them to know that they need to rise above what they think is great. Every child thinks like, okay, I got this, I'm perfect. But no, there is always somebody that's going to come better than you. What are you going to do then? So
yes,
you cannot always think like, I reached my potential. You've never ever reached your full potential. So
yes,
you keep building. So some level of competition in the dancers right next to you pushes you. It also sometimes pushes you back where you feel inferior to them.
not enough, not enough. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. So when that happens, it's the teacher's responsibility to tell them, no, she, explored another way to get there. So how about you do something like that? Or what works for her is not going to work for you. So you have to like, do it this way. So we show them the other way. And then they understand that, okay, so there is, path for me, there is potential for me. So part of the responsibility of the teacher is to make the child understand the full potential of what she is capable of. And half the times, like I said in the very beginning, children don't know their full potential. They think like, oh my god, I'm not able to do this, I guess, dance is very difficult, or singing is very difficult. It is going to be difficult, yes, but break through it and come up to the top. And as a teacher, that becomes like, um, my responsibility to show them the full potential. But once they know that this is possible, I can keep getting, higher and higher in my level of understanding and my level of performance, then they understand that sky is the limit. I've like never reached my full potential. There is always more room for growth. And that's what character building comes into.
yeah. That's
So
amazing, actually, amazing. Like when, what I, in a nutshell, what I can say is when parents enroll their kids for Bharatanatyam, the life lessons comes as a bonus here.
it does. It
It is.
definitely does.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the two things they're learning, not just Bharatanatyam, they're learning the life lessons and,
It never is. Yeah.
important practical life lessons, like, the endurance, as you said, then the communication, then, confidence, preparing for future, like competition.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
consistency. I think you are building lives, I say here. Okay. You are not just teaching the Bharatanatyam, you are changing lives, also building lives. Because,
Well, arts built my life. So,
yes, you are
it's only
giving back.
fair that I, spread it over to everybody that
Yes,
I
spreading
can
the
and
word.
who is interested.
Amazing, amazing. So, Miss Sunitha Raj, like you spent more than 25 years teaching Bharatanatyam, in America. So, why do you feel like why is it important for youth who is growing up outside Bharat to stay connected to their roots or tradition or values? So, what's your take on that?
I think I've kind of already answered that. It's like all of our stories, our myths, and our tales, our folk tales,
Yeah, yeah,
all of those things have always been very fascinating to me as a child.
yeah.
But every little story, whether it's the crow story or whether it's a jackal story or whatever it is, always has a moral. Like, like we grew up reading Amar Chitraktha, Panchatantra, and all of these stories.
Yes.
And every story, the bottom line is there is a moral. And that moral is like how you should, like, perceive your life, how, what is ethics, what is being unethical, what is truth going to reward you, what is honesty going to reward you. This is how all of these stories underlay. So they have always been secretly building characters. Like, we know that, oh, Duryodhana is like evil because he was greedy. So being greedy is not a good thing. Rama was like, very, very compassionate, even to Ravana, even though he was a bad person. So we are like, oh, I want to be like Rama. We should be able to, like, understand the other person's perspective and give them an opportunity to change. Of
Yes.
course, if it doesn't change, it's a different story. But Rama did not just come and start a war. He came and he asked for, like, would you please send my wife back? And when he said no, absolutely not, over my dead body, he was like, oh well, in that case, we're going to have to go into war. So that trying to make peace with, regardless of what the opposition's character is, and then trying to understand and put ourselves in the other person's shoes, and as being Krishna, to also at the same time be smart about the decisions that you make. Because Krishna may seem unethical on
Yes.
the surface, but he had super ethical reasons for what he did.
Mhm.
So then we understand the depth of Krishna's character. It's like he's not just dancing and singing with the gopikas. He is doing so much more, and then he is the one that had so much of by giving us Bhagavad Gita, he gave us the entire universe and how to live. So for a child that was stealing butter, to a person that was giving us the commandments on how to live a life, that is how everybody wants to be in their life. We got to have the fun side, but at the same time we need to be very ethical, and we need to understand how to take our life forward, and how in the same process help the others along to go along with it. So that nature is all there already in our stories. And Bharatanatyam, we are only it's an art form of storytelling. So we are doing all of these stories about
Yes.
Krishna, about Shiva, about Vishnu, about Rama, about Ravana. We're doing different stories of all of these. And when they're doing the stories, kids are sitting there trying to understand what is it that they're enacting, right? So all of these kids are playing a character. Either they're playing Rukmini, or they're playing Krishna, or they're playing Rama or Sita. So when they're learning how to do the emotions and how to do the dance steps, they need to first understand who they're portraying and what their
Yes.
character is. So they are getting introduced to play different characters in different performances. That way they are imitating all of the characters that have been there in our folklore and have been there in our mythology. So when they're playing these characters, this is it's kind of like having a sleepover, and then playing different characters, and what do you say, make believe.
Yes.
So that kind of just becomes a belief. The make believe just turns into belief when they are like, I need to adapt this in my life, I need to do this in my life. And that is what takes them in their journey toward understanding the culture. So children in USA don't are not exposed to these stories, are not exposed to the dance dramas or
Nowadays. Yes.
dramas. Yeah, so they are more exposed to the either the news channel, not news channels, the Nickelodeon, Disney
Mm.
World, which is not, doesn't have anything rooted to the Indian mythology. But Bharatanatyam does. When you're learning an Indian art form, you're definitely exposed to Indian roots. And for them, for the kids here to understand the roots, for anybody, wherever they come from, whether they come from Ireland or Australia, their mother tongue, their native land, they will have their folklore. And you should never forget where you come from, because that's what makes you who you are. So in every sense of the word, that's what we're doing with Bharatanatyam. We're teaching the children, this is where you come from, this is where your parents come from, and this is the culture behind it. Now when you go forward in your life, you take it or leave it, it's up to you.
Mm.
But you need to be educated,
No.
you should know everything. So when you teach them all of these things, it is there somewhere in them. Like I said, whether they adapt it or not, when they have their children, they somehow want to instill their children into the same thing. They're like, listen, I had the opportunity to experience Indian culture, and I want my children to also. Whether again they take it or leave it, it's up to them. But as much as we can, we should know to expose them to the roots. We should make the children, the next generation, understand where their parents' root and where their ancestors came from, so
Yes.
they can build on that and become whoever they want to with confidence.
Yes. As a foundation, I think they're taking
It's
it.
very important. The foundation is very
Yes. The
important.
foundation is very
And adapted culture is just becomes that. It's just an adapted culture.
yes.
But this is not an adapted culture. This is your roots. So understanding the roots is very
Yes.
important for success.
Like, as you were saying, even I firsthand myself witnessed in your Ramayana production how kids, it's not they learned, they were becoming those
Yeah.
characters. The
Yeah.
becoming is what the difference, right? That's the change.
Yes.
Thank you. So thank you for doing all these things, for the uplifting the tradition of the Bharatanatyam. So you are like
We try.
setting up the legacy actually. Like it's very few does that actually. Um, Keeping
Well,
it up.
I'm grateful that God gave me this opportunity to do that. I mean, me coming to USA and settling down here, it was not something I thought I was going to do. It's just, God had already gotten that path for me.
Yes.
So I'm just, building up more on whatever is available to me.
So great.
That's all. Yeah.
So, in continuation to the rising youth in today's digital world, maybe like we'll do it very crisp this one. Today's youth, surrounded by screens, as we know, at very early stage, they exposed to like the Chromebooks at school, at home, like iPads and all that, and all social
Mhm.
media like Snapchat and all these constant distractions. How can like or what can the art forms teach them about keeping up the discipline and studies, or being focused all the time, or about their EQ, emotional well-being. That's big thing, right? Emotional well-being,
Yeah.
positive mindset. So
Yeah.
what is your perspective on this?
First thing is, when you are in dance class, there's no screen time, right?
Okay.
Because it's a hands-on art,
Yes.
so you cannot uh, send a video and tell them to like learn from the video. They're not going to understand how to do those steps, because it's not
Yes.
freestyle dancing. It is a disciplinary art form. It
Mm.
has structure to it. So these structures are not something that can be digitalized. You can teach online, yes, sure, but you cannot tell them to learn Bharatanatyam from a video. That's not going to happen. So that cuts off the screen time right then and there.
Yes.
So the 3 hours, 4 hours of dance practice that they do per week is taking away from that much of exposure from the screen time. And the next thing is, like I said, the endurance, and then the failure, the introducing the kids to failure. That's what Bharatanatyam does, because every person is going to experience failure at one or the other point. But failure, like I said, they have to understand that failure is not the end. Failure is the beginning, is the first step to success. So when they're not able to get a step, the interest to learn more, or the whether it's with the help of the parents or the teachers, the understanding that no, this is not the end. I can do this. And then it's never like, we actually have a saying in our school: nobody is allowed to say I can do this. They can only say like I am not able to do this. So if you say I can do this, that's like drawing a line. You definitely can. You can, if there is a will and a way, like like they say, wherever there is a will, there is a
Basically, you
way.
have a potential, but you're untapped.
Exactly.
Instead of saying
So
I can't. Yeah.
totally agree with you on that. So when we show them that, okay, well, it's not able to do it today, then you can do this tomorrow, and this is the other way, then they are like set up for understanding that, okay, I can go to my parents if I have trouble with something. That's a very, very important thing that the children don't do these days. They reach out to the friends more than their parents. But with Bharatanatyam, reaching out to their friends is useless. They have to reach out to their parents
Yeah.
or the teacher. So they understand that, like, I need intervention from the person that has more understanding of the art form or has more knowledge of this one. So they reach out to the correct resources.
Mhm.
So once they reach out to the correct resources, they get the help. And they should not be shy to ask for help.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these are all the things that gives them the path to, like, move forward. and and the influences and the peer pressure that I spoke about at the beginning is cut off right there.
by that,
So
by
when that is cut off, when, like, your friend isn't going to be able to help you, your teacher or your parents have to help you, they make that a habit to come to somebody who's more authorized to help you with, which is the correct way to go to help, rather than taking an advice of a person who's your age, because obviously they don't have the experience or they don't have the caution to step forward. Like, they're risk takers at that
yes,
age.
yes, yes,
So that comes in with, like, so they would know to, like, go to somebody with responsibility. And
yes.
that is how they know to reach out to the correct resources. And once they know to reach out to the correct resources, they have pretty much their life in front of them.
So basically, surrounded by the right resources. That,
Exactly.
that's a key,
That
right?
exactly. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we teach them to, like, make sure to choose and pick the correct resources
Yes.
so you're able to move yourself forward.
Amazing. Oh yeah, having guru is like, so that's a guru, and guri and guru. What we say, the goal and guru. When
Correct.
we have goal and when we have right guru like you, so I think students can excel.
I was very
Amazing.
fortunate to have my guru. So, I'm just trying to
Just
do
tapping
what he
into the
did
map.
for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Miss Sunitha Raj, you have seen, like, student transformations. At the early age, you have seen how the student is walked into your studio. Then
Yeah.
you have seen this how they get transformed into a
And
different,
become successful
right?
individuals.
So,
Yes.
and you've seen that, and then after, like, spending this many years and all that, what's your one message to a every, like, young person? What's your say, like, just one message to them?
Never give up.
Never give up. Yeah,
Never give
that's
up.
powerful.
And realize your full potential. Sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit. So never give up. Like, winner never quits, quitter never wins.
Yes.
Other way of
Exactly.
saying it. Thank you very much for having us today and for your time. And it's really, we are very grateful to you, and you for sharing all the practical, wisdom and timeless values. And at G-Yuva, we always say that it's G-Yuva is inspired by Swami Vivekananda Ji. So we always say to our kids and our youth, saying that arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishtata Jagrata
Absolutely.
Pratyavara Nibodhata. So today, it's our privilege to have conversation with you, ma'am. So thank you for your time. So thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Okay. So thank you, and see you next week with other profound leader. And it's our
Absolutely.